I called my mom and asked her to bring it to school. Uh-oh, you better be 3 steps ahead of her, and already I was a step behind. I hadn't remembered what was in my wallet until after I'd asked her to bring it to me. Okay, she won't read it, I thought, and then almost immediately realized, of course she would. I told myself, if she reads that last line, she'll get that it was a joke. Then I immediately thought to myself, of course she won't know it's a joke. I was sitting in English class when I got called to the office. When I walked in, I found my mom crying hysterically. Mom, you read the note, didn't you? She couldn't even speak. She just nodded her head yes. How could I have known that she probably had visions of the night Stephen came home and announced he had knocked up his girlfriend? It was a joke, Mom. Didn't matter. I should have known better. I should have run through the scenarios before I called her. In that way, it's no different than producing a radio show. It's all about being able to anticipate. Please leave now, Mom, I said while she sat in the office. You're making a scene. Go home. That night, as soon as my dad got home, I watched the two of them walk into the bedroom and close the door. A few minutes later, my dad came back out alone. You shouldn't joke about stuff like that, he told me. Okay, I said. To this day, I think what my dad really meant was, you shouldn't joke about stuff like that because then I have to deal with your mother.
Becoming Baba Booey. My Caps, 1988.
My mom had taken the antibiotic tetracycline when she was pregnant with me. Turns out doctors later learned that a common side effect for pregnant women who take the drug is that it can permanently stain their kids' teeth. No joke. My entire life, I had teeth that were stained in a strange, asymmetrical pattern. Kids made fun of me for it. They were merciless. Most of what I remember about 5th grade is being picked on for having a mouthful of yellow teeth. I asked a girl out once, who even knew what that meant at that age, and she turned me down because of my banana-colored chompers. I was crushed and told my mom about it, which you might think was a stupid move, but in moments like that, my mom was at her best. She was absolutely convinced the girl was an idiot. You are the most handsome boy in that school, she told me. That is her problem, not yours. I was thinking, Ma, I got a mirror. I know that's not true. But if your mom isn't your biggest fan, then you're kind of fucked. Anyway, it didn't help matters that I was deathly afraid of the dentist. Sometimes I outright refused to go. If anyone put their hands in my mouth, I would gag. But my freshman year in college, as I was gaining more confidence in school and working at the radio station and thinking about the life I might have once I escaped Long Island, I decided it was time to get my yellow teeth capped. The experience was brutal. I thrashed and gagged and struggled, and that was just when they put the bib on me. When the dentist finally came in and saw what was happening, he exhibited exactly the kind of empathy I'd become used to all my life. He told me to calm down and grow up. I was so shocked I did. After that dreadful, scary, painful experience, I swore off going to the dentist again. I couldn't do it. I was just too scared. A year went by, then 2, then 3. I might have gone once or twice before graduating from college, but when I started working, I never bothered. It didn't matter how much Howard made fun of my teeth or my breath or any combination of how they worked together. I wasn't going. And it turned into an issue. My gums became badly infected, and my teeth were in really bad shape. Underneath the caps, my teeth were literally rotting, like something out of 18th century England. My teeth, how big they were, how bright they were, how much they resembled a horse's became a constant topic of conversation on the show, along with my deathly fear of dentists. By the time I'd been working with Howard for a couple of years, it had been close to 6 years since I had sat in a dentist's chair. My mouth was killing me, but I could not bring myself to make an appointment. One afternoon in 1987, I went to a graduation party for one of our interns at her parents' house. One of the intern's uncles walked up to me and introduced himself. He said his name was Charles Randolph and that he was a big fan of the show. He also happened to be a dentist. I know what you said on the air about dentists, he said, but you've got to see someone. Come by my office. I promise I will make you comfortable. Of course, that phrase, I promise I'll make you comfortable, sounds creepy now, but I immediately liked and trusted him. And even I knew caps didn't last forever, especially if you never bothered going to the dentist. So I resolved to see Dr. Randolph and have them replaced. But it wasn't that easy. After years of neglect, my gums were so bad I needed several appointments and treatments to clean them up. Naturally, when it was finally time to take care of the caps, it couldn't be a private moment between me and Dr. Randolph. It was part of the show. Only this time it was going to be videotaped. It was the winter of 1988, and Howard had decided to do our first pay-per-view special called Howard Stern's Negligee and Underpants Party. It was the early days of pay-per-view on cable. There were still plenty of places around the country that weren't wired for cable. People were getting excited and ordering the special. The numbers coming in were astounding. We started hearing about fans who had plans to drive for miles just to get to a town that was wired so they could book motel rooms for viewing parties. It became one of the highest-grossing premium specials of all time. We did a lesbian Dell'Abate segment and had Dweezil and Moon Unit Zappa on as guests. Vinny Mazzio lit his underwear on fire and then cooked an egg. And they filmed me at the dentist getting my teeth capped. Unfortunately, the show ran long, so most of Vinny's bit and all of mine got cut from the special. That's when Howard had a brilliant idea. Let's sell a videotape of the show and include the stuff that was cut out, including my dental visit. Only instead of just slapping the segment onto the end of the show, Howard and I added a running play-by-play of my procedure. Basically, it was the equivalent of the bonus commentary on a DVD a decade before anyone was doing that. Honestly, it's pretty gross to watch. I'm not sure how either of us made it through the analysis. In fact, while I'm sitting in the chair, I look into the camera and say, "You have no idea how disgusting this is going to get." First, there was a shot of Dr. Randolph sticking needles several inches long into my gums right above my two front teeth. Then he took a drill and sliced open my caps, a straight line down the middle. "There goes $1,200 worth of caps," I said on the tape. Oh man, Howard was screaming. It was actually an excruciating experience all around. There was a camera inches from my mouth as Dr. Randolph took a pair of dental pliers and started tugging and pulling on my caps, jimmying them back and forth as if each one was a wedding ring that was on too tight. First you see the cap, which is split in two, moving my gum line, then all of a sudden, crack, it comes loose. What's beneath it is a yellow tooth that looks as small as a baby's because it had been shaved the very first time I had caps put in. "Hey, look," Howard said in the voiceover, "it's Eddie Munster." After that, Randolph took a tiny drill the size of a pin and started creating a space at my gum line so the new cap could slide in easily. Blood was squirting out, making my already yellow shaved teeth look even more discolored and grotesque. "Look how green your teeth are," Howard said. "That's how bad they used to be," I said. "You look like Linda Blair in The Exorcist." Then there was a shot of the nurse grimacing. Even she couldn't believe it. Pretty soon, all four of my caps were off, revealing a bleeding, oozing mess of mouth. Between my jagged, misshapen teeth were spaces as wide as Alfred E. Newman's. "Ugh, I can't believe we're asking people to pay $24.95 for this," Howard exclaimed. "I look like Michael Spinks," I said. Toward the end of the procedure, Howard said into the camera, "Okay, give him the money shot." I smiled wide and showed off my brand new teeth. They were better than ever. It had been worth the pain, physical and otherwise.
Chapter 7. The Mott Street Gambler Goes Broke.
I rode my bike all over town when I was growing up. To Uniondale Park, to a friend's house. I had an itch just to hop on and go somewhere all the time. It used to drive me nuts sitting on that park bench, talking about what we were going to do all day. We'd